what is the best Christmas movie from the 80s? Now, here's something that a lot of people got wrong when I put this poll up on my YouTube channel. They brought up Home Alone. Home Alone, technically a 90s movie, so because it came out in 1990. But we do have 3 on the list, Alan. Die Hard, Christmas Vacation, and A Christmas Story. Which one do you think got the most votes?
Knowing the internet crowd, I will probably say Die Hard.
Absolutely. It was over 50% of the vote. It was 51 for Die Hard, 24% for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and 16% for A Christmas Story, and then something else coming in at 9%. And there's 2 great movies, one of which is very Christmas, one of which you can kind of consider Christmas, and I'm going to see if Alan can guess those later on down here in this video. But we're going to start here with Die Hard at 51%. This is a movie that when I was back living in Portland, my mom and I made this one a Christmas staple, where we were watching this one every Christmas. Did you know that Bruce Willis, he was the 6th or possibly 7th choice to play John McClane? Can you name the other actors who were offered the role first?
Huh.
So think about the time and who were some pretty big... For the most part, they're action stars. There's at least one guy on this list where I'm like, he's not really an action star, but he was a big name.
Chuck Norris.
Nope.
Really?
Chuck Norris was not. I mean, he might have been, but he's not on my list.
Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if he got the role? He would have, he's Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and John McClane.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Get off my building.
All right, you got one. Think
God, for some reason, all like 80s action star names are like not popping up in my head right now.
All right, so I'll give you one here, because this one has been disputed by one of the producers, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That wouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
that would have been horrible.
He would have sounded like one of the villains.
Yeah.
He would have sounded like he belonged with Hans Gruber.
I mean, well, hindsight is 2020, but it's like casting somebody like Bruce Willis, who was like, not overly muscular. He looked like an everyday guy, just made it so much better.
Yeah, he looked like a New York cop.
Yeah. He looked like a New York cop.
And he wasn't, and the reason he was down the list so far is he wasn't known for being an action star. He was essentially, it was in
Moonlighting.
Yeah. But then, so Arnold Schwarzenegger was one. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So that would probably mean Sylvester Stallone.
Yep. So we've got 3 so far.
Oh,
snap. I wrote this one down twice. I wrote down Harrison Ford twice. No wonder my numbers were all off. I was like, what the hell?
Clint Eastwood.
No. Although there's an interesting fact about Clint Eastwood. He owned the rights to the movie. And at one point, he did almost play it because he owned it. Because originally, this movie was going to be made for Frank Sinatra.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of odd.
Huh. Yeah, there's and that actually, you know what? It's funny is that those are the facts I didn't even include on this. But yeah, that was something that was an actual thing. I believe it was for Frank Sinatra, and Clint Eastwood owned the rights. So here are the 2 that you are missing. So we got Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Harrison Ford, Burt Reynolds.
Oh,
but
Turd Ferguson.
God damn it, you beat me to it, because I was going to say it only would have worked if you went by Turd Ferguson. Mr. Ferguson. Could you imagine Alan Rickman saying that? Turd Ferguson. And then the other one, so this other one, not necessarily an action star, but it would have been a big name, Richard Gere.
Oh, yeah, I like Richard Gere. I could totally see doing it.
I could have seen him as well. It's like it was all these other action stars. Then you had Richard Gere, but then of course it went to Bruce Willis. All right, so Hans Gruber was Alan Rickman's first major studio role, but the role almost went to somebody else.
Okay.
Do you know who it was? And I'll give you a hint. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm a little bit under the weather, so I gotta. Do 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 do
Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, you're so close. You got the right movie. Sam Neill.
Oh.
It was almost Sam Neill playing Hans Gruber. But how friggin' dope would it have been if Jeff Goldblum played Hans Gruber? When I was putting this together, this morning, I had this vision of Jeff Goldblum playing Hans Gruber and going through the roles when he's on the walkie-talkie, or even when he runs into John McClane, when John McClane doesn't know who he is yet.
Please stop! Don't kill me! Oh God, you're one of them!
All right, so some random facts. The original script called for the hostage situation to take place over 3 days. It wasn't just going to be a one-night thing. However, director John McTiernan, with inspiration from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, decided to make it one night. So it was technically a little inspired by Shakespeare.
Huh.
Also, the line "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," was meant to be a joke. Willis kind of ad-libbed that line with the intent of kind of, lightening up the crew a little bit, and then it ended up in the movie.
Yeah. I wonder if it was in the book.
I don't know.
Did you know that Die Hard was based on a book?
Yes, because that was how Frank Sinatra kind of got the rights to it, or not. How he was in line for the role, and then by the time they were going to make the movie, he was too old. So, all right, going on to our next movie, Christmas Vacation, National Lampoons. 24% of the vote came in. Now,
my personal pick.
This one's mine. This is probably my favorite Christmas movie, and I will fight anybody that tells me that this is not the most quotable movie of all time.
It's so good.
I mean, there's a lot of really quotable movies, but this is arguably, I'm not even going to say arguably, it's the most quotable movie of all time. So cameras captured a natural disaster while filming the movie. Can you name the disaster?
A snowstorm?
No.
Oh.
It was an earthquake.
No kidding.
A small earthquake hit while they were filming. And so there's this scene where Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany are showing up at the doorstep, and it's an exterior shot. You can see the camera shake slightly.
Oh, I'm going to have to look at that when I watch it next.
So when you look, because obviously they've got all the lights on the exterior of the house, and if you kind of line it up with the side of the monitor, or like the side of the shot, you can see a little bit of, kind of wobbling with the lights right there. One of the characters was based on a real person. Which character do you think was based on a real person?
Uncle Lewis.
No, but it was one of the relatives, Cousin Eddie.
Oh,
Randy Quaid based the character on someone he knew while growing up in Texas, and that's where like the tongue clicking that he does when they're eating that.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from, because that's what somebody did that Randy Quaid knew. I could wake up with my head sewn to the carpet tomorrow and not be more surprised than I am right now. Why don't you get the kids things and don't forget the rubber sheets and the gerbils? That's a line that I think for 15 years I never knew existed, because this was a movie we watched every Christmas. Remember how you and I were talking yesterday about Christmas traditions and kind of having the same schedule for most Christmases?
Yes.
This was something that was every Christmas. When we were at my dad's side of the family, we would watch Christmas Vacation. And obviously there's other things going on. It's not like everybody watching intently, because we've all seen it dozens of times. But that was a line when when he says, "Get the kids things, don't forget the rubber sheets and the gerbils." I don't know if I heard that.
Remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard that line for the first 15 years that this movie existed. I think somebody had to point that out to me, or I caught it like randomly. It's just it's again, most quotable movie of all time. Here's some random facts. Clark's childhood home that's shown in that old home video when he's stuck in the attic.
Yep.
That's a famous house. That's the house from Bewitched.
Oh.
It's on the back. It's on the back lot.
Oh, I see.
So it's kind of like how
shot at one studio.
I think it was Warner Brothers backlot. It's kind of like how Back to the Future, the clock tower, like that's been in multiple different movies. Kind of the same thing. They just put a little different spin on it. One more random factor: in the earlier Vacation movies, Audrey was younger than Rusty, But in Christmas Vacation, they flip-flopped, and all of a sudden, she was the older sibling.
Yeah.
I met her, by the way. Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis?
Yeah, she came into town one time with her band, Juliette and the Licks. She was cool, man. She was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I have a feeling that she would be pretty cool, though. She seems like a cool person.
There's a friend of mine that he worked at a different radio station at that time, and he told this story about how she would come in, she would perform a song, do an interview, and then leave. And I guess he wasn't around for the interview or any of that stuff. He showed up late, and she just, as they're leaving, she like randomly grabbed him by like the collar and just started making out with him.
Lucky guy.
So I don't know how true that is, but he told me it was true.
I think it was made up. Okay.
A Christmas Story came in at 16% of the vote. They needed multiple leg lamps for this movie. How many were made?
16.
Nah, you're way too high. Only 3.
Oh.
There was 3 total made. All of them were broken, so there is no original leg lamp.
Oh, that sucks.
In Ralphie's assignment about what he wants for Christmas, he misspells a very important word. Do you know which word he misspells?
Carbine.
No. Oh. Christmas.
How does he spell it?
He forgets the R. Like somebody went in, and when you look at the top, when you look at this, and when he's looking at the big C+, you can see it is like what I want for Kistmas, because there's no R at the top in his cursive handwriting.
Oh, no wonder he got a C.
So some random facts about this movie. The flagpole scene, not as bad as you think. Do you know how they got Flick's tongue to stick to the pole?
I was thinking that it wasn't his actual tongue.
It was his actual tongue, but there was a hole in the pole. Sorry. On that note, as we're filming this, here's my coral balls that I found on the beaches of Hawaii. No, so there was like a very small hole, and then there's a mini vacuum inside. So they would turn it on, and it would stick his tongue to the pole.
And they gave that actor kid, a new fetish that he fucking loves from here on out.
There was there was almost a really famous actor that ended up playing Old Man Parker, the dad, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he would have been at the right age at that time, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to play it, but unfortunately he was too expensive, which is why he ended up not playing Old Man Parker. All right, so something else came in at 9% on this poll that I put up on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
2 movies. So we're talking about Christmas movies from the 80s. Again, Home Alone doesn't count. That was not from the 80s. That was a 90s movie. And there was another one that somebody put. I can't remember. Oh, Jingle All the Way. I think somebody put that. And I was like, no,
that was 90s, yeah?
Yeah. So we're going to do another one that we're going to wrap, 90s Christmas movies, and we'll do 2000s Christmas movies. So 9% was something else. And there's 2 movies, one of which was very Christmas. And the other one, it's kind of like Die Hard, where it's not maybe a Christmas movie, but happens to take place on Christmas. Can you name either of the movies? Not really.
Santa Claus the movie.
No. I think that was 90s.
Really?
Too. I think that was 90s too. Let me check.
Not the Tim Allen one. The one with Dudley Moore.
Oh.
Where he plays an elf and they have candy canes that make kids fly.
Oh, that was 85.
Do you remember that?
I do not. I don't remember that at all.
Really?
No, I don't. But I'm so glad you brought that up, because now I feel like I need to go watch it. John Lithgow was in it.
Yeah, John Lithgow was the main CEO guy.
Huh. His name was BZ. Interesting. Well, I had no. I mean, now that I'm seeing it, I think I might remember it a little bit. But damn. All right.
In my head, for some reason, that was a big Christmas movie. But anyway, another one, Die Hard-ish.
Yes.
I can't even.
This is one that people constantly bring up, where they say, "Well, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. So is Lethal Weapon."
Did Lethal Weapon take?
It's during the Christmas season. And then it was back to back. So Lethal Weapon was directed by Richard Donner. So it takes place during Christmas. The following year, Richard Donner directed another Christmas movie. This is the one. It's shocking me that you have not brought this one up yet.
Okay.
Scrooged.
Love that movie.
Well, obviously not that much.
Well, yeah, I guess I forgot about it.
Yeah, Richard Donner went 1987 Lethal Weapon, 88 Scrooged. So he went back to back. Oh, I forgot he did Maverick.
Yeah, he did Maverick, yeah.
It's one that we've
And
talked
listen,
about.
just because I forgot about Scrooge doesn't mean I don't love it.
Yes, it's exactly what it means. All right, so I do have an interesting fact about Scrooge. So Carol Kane, who plays the ghost of Christmas Present, who was fucking brilliant in that movie.
Yes.
So if you remember correctly, one of her things is she kind of beats the shit out of Bill Murray a lot. She actually hurt him during filming. There's the one part where she grabs him by the lip and she's pulling him by his lip. You know that little piece of skin that attaches your lip to your gums?
Oh, God.
She fucking tore that.
Oh, man, that's gotta hurt.
So there's your 80s Christmas movies. We're going to have 90s Christmas movies coming up. We're also going to get to some Christmas music as well. So a lot of Christmas things going on here through the month of December. So if there's anything that we missed, if there's a fact that you don't think we got right, or if there's a fact that you enjoyed, or maybe, again, you really like the fact that Alan has a camera, make sure you guys comment below.